Paul.
Hi, everyone.
Back. Really exciting updates for you all this week. Let us know, just opening up the chat. Let us know once you've arrived in the chat, and we're just going to play a little minimal house, as it's called here, to get everyone pumped up, and we'll give everyone a few minutes to filter in before we get going. House. Just going to check with our community manager that we're live on the channels. I'm going to do something a little bit different this week. Paul's kindly provided us with a really succinct demo video, which we'll play. He's going to tee up some of the incredible things he's been building, and then we'll be playing this video straight into the live stream. And I'll also be posting the videos on X following with a bit of more context as to what you're seeing and some of the capabilities Paul built out. Welcome. Okay, things confirm we're live. Just give a few more minutes and let people filter in. Tim says lower the music. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tim. Music is lowered. Welcome, everyone. This is your weekly dose of alpha for everyone. We got Paul here, 2 demos coming up. Give it a couple more minutes. Good morning, Blue. Hi, Trick or Treat. Good evening to you. Good music, thank you. Apparently Trick or Treat was a little bit too loud previously, but we're getting the levels right and adjusted. I'm calling in from a rainy day in Los Angeles, a rare rainy day. Drizzle like I remember from back home in the UK. Paul, I don't know what weather you've been dealing with.
Yeah, it's dry today, but yeah, plenty of rain over this side.
Okay, we'll give it one more minute. For those just joining us, 2 demos. Paul has built some serious upgrades to the GoForGuard tool, as well as a new alert system. He'll be taking us through. Well, actually, we'll be playing a recorded demo of that, which I'll also be posting on X. And Paul will be giving us a little bit of context as to some of the utility and around each of these tools and how you can work them into your trading workflows. We should also be broadcasting on YouTube. Community Manager Doc, let us know if we're also streaming live on YouTube as well. Okay, we have a good number of people in here. 100 plus, I believe. I'll use my DJ skills to artfully lay down the minimal house. All right, we're live. Hi, everyone. Hey, Paul. Thanks for joining us.
Of course.
Two big product releases. We did not have a session last week. As some of you may know, we were all jamming in person as well as with Brendan up in San Francisco, working very intensely in around product and on my side, how we're going to bring those products to market. And two of those products are, I don't want to overstep here, Paul. One is live, or we're getting there.
Yeah. Always getting there.
So this is a teaser in effect to what will be coming in a couple of weeks. The first is Guard, some incredible updates to Guard, and we'll be playing a demo video outlining exactly what that is and what that looks like and where you can find it within the GoTrader dashboard. Paul, would love a little setup in terms of what we're about to watch. What kind of spurred you to build it, the problems you were looking to solve within the existing Go for Guard tool? I think it may actually be helpful for our audience to give like a Guard, a bit of a context around Guard as a whole before going into those specific updates, and then we'll roll the demo.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hi, everybody. Thanks, Zach. Yeah, so Guard, as some of you know, it is live in its V1. This is a pretty big jump up with V2 of what we're planning to release very soon, like Zach said. But a recap for those that didn't see the original demo of Guard or haven't had a chance to use it. Guard started out as a concept where connecting directly into Hyperliquid, I thought it would be nice to have a way to look at your positions that you have on Hyperliquid, highlight to the user where maybe stop losses or take profit levels weren't in place, kind of guard your positions. Risk management always an important side of trading. And then also to add the ability for you to slide the market to see how your P&L changes as your positions move with the price of the tokens you're trading. It gave you kind of a projection, and it has some nice features where it triggers on a stop loss or a take profit, or you can just let it loose and say, if I didn't have a take profit and the market really rallied in my favor, where could my P&L go? So that was the V1. As the demo will show, what I've done with V2, in terms of why it is, how it's evolved and why I've extended the product, a lot of this is just in the flow. I think about past experience working with platforms, and when I started looking at Guard, for a start, it didn't have streaming directly from Hyperliquid. It was doing polling, aggressive updates, if you like. So it now streams data directly from Hyperliquid. There's no aggressive polling or refreshing required. As you'll see in the demo, as things happen on Hyperliquid, as you trade on Hyperliquid, Guard immediately reacts to it. It'll immediately show you the position appearing on the Guard platform. So that was the first upgrade. Then the second one that you'll see, I started thinking that Guard could become quite a nice way to also do some kind of projections on where your portfolio may be wanting to go. So thinking about how you might want to create hypothetical positions. You haven't yet traded those, but you might be interested in how they would complement your real positions, your live positions on Hyperliquid, but effectively how you could model or mock up and shape a portfolio and do the same projections and the same sort of simulations of the market moving. So you'll see that in action as well. We've got the ability with this new version to actually create hypothetical positions that you may or may not decide to trade on Hyperliquid. And then the third piece, there's four pieces. The third piece is when you create those hypothetical trades, I really want to start showing how Gopher's maturing in the fact that we're starting to leverage and bring together different elements of Gopher to benefit other elements of Gopher. So in the context of Guard, I want to create a hypothetical position. I don't really know what I want to trade. And you'll see within the trade ticket entry screen in Guard, you can actually use an icon called Market Intelligence. And what that does is it goes across to discovery and sentiment, and it will give you a feel for where Gopher is indicating that there could be a good long or short opportunity. So now you don't have to go to Discovery, have a look at some tokens, think about which ones you want, write it down. You go onto Guard and it'll start feeding you information that Gopher's already mining for in the background in other parts of the offering.
Nice.
The third piece. And then the fourth piece you'll see is I wanted to introduce some LLM AI components into Guard. So it's a kind of work in progress. It's probably the one out of all of the things you'll see that needs maybe a bit of fine tuning, but it's going on the concept of a risk, like a credit score, but it's a risk assessment. You can kind of see the teaser on that screenshot. There's a risk assessment and a lock symbol. But basically, once you've modeled your portfolio with your real positions and your anticipated positions, you can use the Gopher risk assessment tool, and it sends your positions, real and proposed, and your orders, and it actually does a bit of a credit score for you. It gives you an assessment of the portfolio, and it gives you an overall score. So when we run it for this, no spoilers, but you'll see, because there is a position there without a stop loss or take profit, that's going to damage my risk assessment score. So it's going to give you a really detailed report of all of your positions, all of your proposed positions, and a score out of 100 that you could then go and have a look, read it, fine tune the portfolio, maybe run the score again. And when you're ready, you can go and trade. And then everything would be in Guard for you to monitor. So yeah, there you go. Pretty big intro, but I think we can roll it back.
That was perfect. And this is the first instance of a tool communicating with other aspects and other pieces of utility within the GoTrader offering. Is that correct? Am I understanding that?
I think from an end user experience, without thinking about it too much, yeah, I think it's starting to show how things aren't just verticals, they're not just silos, they're starting to work horizontally. And I think there's definitely more opportunities to do that. And in fact, the second demo we have pushes that forward. But yeah, this is starting to draw on what we've built that users can access from the menus, but start to integrate it into the actual tooling that we're delivering on the website.
Amazing. I'm going to let the demo rip, and we'll be quiet for a moment for the next 5 minutes. Again, you will be able to refer to this following Alpha for Everyone. I'll be posting this demo directly on X. One other thing I want to add, I know within GoTrader, people have been vying for additional credits. And as early access, as early adopters here on this stream, comment your GoTrader wallet address within the comment sections of this stream on X or within YouTube comments, and we'll see about getting you some additional credits so you can start testing these tools when they go live next week. So we'll have those credits ready for when these tools launch, so you can actually get in and test as well. But here we go with the demo. I'm going to see if I can maximize this.
Hi everybody, wanted to give you guys a demo of some of the new features we're building out on Guard. As you will recall from those of you that saw the first version of Guard V1 that we showcased a few months back, we've been working on some new features for Guard which are pretty cool. So the first one is you no longer have to have a refresh going on the page. This is directly connected now to Hyperliquid, so it's streaming all your positions from Hyperliquid. This is an existing position I have on BTC, but if we come over here and we quickly do a small trade on ETH, for example, place the order, there it is, immediately appears on Gopher. Actually appears slightly quicker than it does on the Hyperliquid website, which is pretty funny. But yeah, I've now got my two positions which reflect what I have on Hyperliquid. I have a stop loss and take profit here, so this position is green. Like I showed before, you can move the bar up and down to simulate the price, and you can see how it would affect your P&L. But what we can also do now, if you're thinking about a position, you're thinking about going into a trade, but you don't know what to trade just yet, you can now use this almost like a position modeling tool, not just a tool to actually look at your positions and make sure they're well protected with stop losses and take profit, but also now you can add a synthetic position. So we get a simple trade ticket form up here. You can select the token if you know what you want, but if you're looking for some inspiration, you're looking for maybe an idea of what to trade, you can now hit on this market intelligence button. And what we're doing now is we're starting to actually pull together the features of Gopher and showing how they leverage one another. When you're looking to trade, we have discovery that shows you some of the hot tokens. We have sentiment that shows you where tokens are heading, what the sentiment is in the market. But with hot tokens, this loads from the discovery part of our product the tokens that are either looking to go long or short. Now right now there's only a couple that are short, everything else is in a wait state, but it does mean I can choose, for example, Venice. With one click I get the information on screen. I just put in $100 and everything else is coming from discovery. The take profit and the stop loss levels are set for me. I can place that position here and it's actually on the screen. It tells you it's pending entry because the price needs to rise to a new level. But that's a synthetic position that's actually now in my portfolio, and I can add others. So I can go in and I can choose Solana. I want to go long. I'm going to do $1,000. I can give it a bit of leverage. I can set the take profit and the stop loss. Defaults to quite high levels, but it shows you how it works. And I can place the order. And now I've got 4 positions, 2 real positions that are on Hyperliquid and 2 hypothetical positions. And again, as I move the market, it's going to show me what's happening when, as the levels are reached, everything is coming to life on the screen. So yeah, it's pretty cool. The next thing we've added is a feature that is still in development, but it's pretty neat. It's the concept of basically getting a risk assessment. So you've got your portfolio and you want to use AI to analyze it and give you a view on where you're at. So you can hit this risk assessment button, and this is actually going to go to the Gopher backend, where using some of our prompt engineering, it's getting your positions, it's going to get knowledge about what you've traded, it's going to take that information, look at where you have stop losses and take profit in place, look at where you don't, look at your distribution across different asset classes, looking for concentration risk, looking for a large amount of exposure to a certain token, where maybe you need to distribute your portfolio more evenly to reduce your risk to one particular asset. And it takes a little bit of time, it's got to do some processing, but there it is. You get a risk assessment report. It's kind of like on the same concept as a credit report. So this is getting a score of 35 out of 100. It's likely that the position I have with no stop loss or take profit is dragging it down, but it's a good summary. I don't expect you to all read this on the screen now, but it gives you a feel for what it's doing. It gives you an overview of the portfolio, a risk assessment for every asset that you're trading, and then it gives you a scoring at the bottom for different categories. So leverage, concentration risk, market alignment, and an overall score. So yeah, Guard V2 coming soon. Hope you like it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Goodbye.
Impressive, Paul. From my non-technical standpoint, synthetic is like a paper trading, and you're using the synthetic to compare and contrast against anything live that you have. Would that be fair?
Yeah, complements the portfolio. So yeah, the synthetic trade is just it's some of your modeling that you haven't actually executed yet in the market. It's simply shaping up it's to help you prepare what you may then go and execute.
Amazing. And the LLM report that you got a tasty 35 against, is that similar, or that's the piping in of the LLM that we see operating within the trade assistant? Is that utilizing the same kind of stack, or is it completely separate too?
Well, it's a different remit. So the prompt is what goes into the LLM is, you are a risk manager. You are assessing a portfolio for the purposes of risk management. You will, be looking at positions and trades that have been executed in the market. So the prompt's quite big, but yeah, it's basically putting on a risk manager hat and looking at your portfolio. Everybody excited to be here today to give.
Got it.
Yeah.
Sorry, the other video unceremoniously played quickly. Really, really powerful stuff. Looking forward to that going live. And as I mentioned before, throw in your GoTrader wallet address, and we'll make sure you have credits to test this when we announce it goes live. in the coming weeks. Moving on, could you give us a little tee up in terms of what you've built for the alert system before we go into that demo?
Yeah, sure. So I'm pretty sure some people asked for this, and it's particularly useful where you're waiting, obviously, for a token to hit a certain level. So the alert demo that you're going to see is something that we've been building alongside Guard, where you're going to be able to identify a token, set a level you want it to reach, long or short, and then this alerts capability as a web page will run on your machine, and it will track the market. We're streaming real-time data into this page. You're going to need it. You're going to have to open as a separate tab along with your other tabs because it needs to stay live, obviously. But you'll be able to set an alert for an entry level on a token. And then as you'll see in the demo, you can also then, once that initial alert has triggered, you can then set subsequent triggers like the take profit and the stop losses. So it's a bit of a parent-child relationship. One alert triggers, the next two come alive. You can have the sound that we've got a few sounds out of the box, but you can add a sound to it, and it has desktop integration. So if you want to have the desktop notifications like you do with other websites, you'll be able to do that. So yeah, it sounds simple, but it's an effective tool where you're waiting for something to happen and you don't want to monitor the price all day on Hyperliquid or wherever you're trading, for example. So yeah, it's alerts. They're stored locally on your machine. So you close the browser, you come back, they're still there. But yeah, you'll see in the video, in the demo.
Great, let's get into it.
Hi everybody, excited to be here today to give you a demo of a new feature we're building into the Gopher website. This is in development at the moment, but what we're building out here is Gopher Alerts. And this is going to be a way for you to monitor the price of tokens and get notified onto your desktop when a price is reached in the market. So let me give you a demo. Let's create a new alert. You choose the direction that you're looking to go in the token, and then you set the target price. So let's go Bitcoin, and we're looking for Bitcoin to reach 67,500. So we're creating an entry alert there, and it's showing you BTC, long, target price, and how far away from the price we are in the market. And it gives you a bit of a feel here with the bar of how close we are to that alert actually triggering. I can create a couple more. We can go short on, say, Solana. And you can tap up and down here if you want to, or you can just simply push the exact price you're looking for in. I'll do a final one just to fill the page up a bit more. Let's add Ethereum. And for Ethereum, we're looking for Ethereum to reach 2050, for example. So you get your stack of alerts that you've created, as you can see here on the screen. But what you can also do is, for an alert that you've created, you can actually add child alerts that will trigger once that initial alert has triggered. So that's a good use of where we can have a take profit. We can say, okay, well, our entry price was 67,500, and then once that triggers, I want to know when the price reaches 69,000. And you can do it the other way. You can add a stop loss in, so we can say equally if BTC hits 60,400, we want to have a stop loss there. So I now have my main alert that I'm monitoring here for Bitcoin to hit 67,500, and when that triggers, these alerts come into play. You can collapse it, you can open it, you can move the alerts up and down, so if you want to reorder them, you can do that. But let's try and now get one of these to actually, let's try and get this BTC alert to actually trigger. Let me edit my target price, and then you're going to see it triggering. And what that does is it'll play this audio sound. I've configured sound to be on. Let's go for a chime, and I've got desktop alerts enabled. And hopefully this will come through on the demo. You get an audio sound there, and you get a bit of toast at the bottom. So if you had this on your desktop, but you're working on another tab, you'll hear the sound, and you'll be able to flip over, and you'll be able to see which alert has triggered. Back to getting one of these to actually pop. Let's edit this BTC, I think I said that. And let's get it right down to market. So market is 66,861. So let's go 66,865. You can see we're right on the edge here at 99%. We just need the market to move $3-4 and we're going to get the trigger. Hopefully it does. It's very close now. Bang, there we go. Alert triggered, BTC entry at 60. So you get the toast here that tells you what's happened. And now you can also see that alert has triggered, and now my child alerts are in play. So that's basically the capabilities that we've built. Alerts for tracking any token. This is streaming data for Hyperliquid. You can move them. This is persisted on your machine. So if you restart your browser and go to alerts, the alerts will all be there. And actually, you can also see, if I show you here, alert history. So that has triggered. As the alerts trigger, you get told what triggered and at what time. So if you go away from your desktop, you come back and you wonder when something happened that you were tracking, you can see it here in the alert history. You can then clear the history. If you want to reactivate an alert, you can reactivate it and it would go back into active alerts. That's another feature we're building. So yeah, that's it. That's Gopher Alerts. It's coming soon. I think it's a really good addition to our offering, and I hope you all like what you've seen today. Thanks very much. Bye.
I certainly like it. It's nothing worse than being glued to candles waiting for certain market conditions to hit. You soon will be able to get on with your day today and make sure that when certain market conditions hit, it activates you to get into GoTrader and set up any of the other tools, including Guard too. Really cool stuff. You mentioned, obviously mentioned Hyperliquid and our various connections to it. I'm going to throw up on screen now a Gopher Hyperliquid referral code. What this does, if you're just on the cusp of integrating and have been exploring with GoTraders like market analysis and the various tools that we have, and you want to make the jump into Hyperliquid, this will give you discounts for actually using Hyperliquid across any of the touch points that we've set up, any of the tools and integrations that we've set up. Really cool, Paul. Thank you for those demo videos.
Yeah, you're welcome. I mean, look, in terms of alerts and levels needing to be reached, it comes into play, going back to discovery, and something I want to develop a bit further is you're on discovery and Gopher's giving you an entry level that the market hasn't yet reached yet. That's where you'd want to create an alert. So I'm working on the concept of you're on discovery, you see an opportunity you're interested in, and with one click, it'll create the alert that reflects the discovery that you've actually found yourself. So this is like, the integration and, one click actions to make things as easy and as seamless as possible is what makes for a really tight site where you can get really good stuff done.
Amazing. I want to move on and show you guys something that I've integrated with the Gopher API. If you joined us, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, you will know that we built out a Gopher public API that provides unified access to all of Gopher's market data, sentiment analysis, and AI trading assistant capabilities. With the recent wave of everyone under their sun and their dog and their mom creating Claudebot agents, I took some time to integrate our API with an agent that I set up, and just want to show you some of the powerful capabilities that it has provided me in terms of using Gopher's market sentiment data. I'm a non-technical trader, and just want to give an example of how I've used the API for marketing needs. And I know there's a lot of individuals who follow us who are kind of trader KOLs and content creators who like to analyze the market, the moves that you should be making in the market. And I've rigged up the Gopher API to provide a morning report based across assets that I've set a certain criteria. And then it also pulls in sentiment data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop in the chat a link to our announcement, which has all the details of the of the Gopher API and just give you a quick showcase in terms of what I've built and hopefully inspire everyone on this stream to think about how they can start utilizing the API for their needs. Obviously, the obvious use case is just getting direct tailored reports from the API. But there are some interesting things you can do as well in and around it. So I'm just going to share my screen a second. Let me get set up real quick. Let me remove this. Entire screen. Paul, are you seeing my screen right now? I should be looking at the Gopher public API. Ooh, no, that's just a... Can you see? Paul, can you just make sure you can see my... I should be in the API docs.
Yeah, I can see it. Gopher public API.
So this is the Gopher public API that outlines all the API endpoints that we're offering. If you go into GoTrader, that setup is super easy. The API docs are within the API section here. And in order to set up, all you need to do is connect your wallet and generate a Gopher inference code. Now, I'm not going to go into how you set up an agent or a Claude bot. There's plenty of information out there outlining exactly how you do that. But let me quickly explain how simple it is to integrate the API into your agent. All I did with my Claude bot was provide this information, this particular link, API docs, to my agent, and then provided a Gopher inference key. And then through how I communicate with my agent, hopefully you're seeing Telegram. Could you just confirm you're seeing my Telegram here?
Yeah.
Through some very simple prompts, set up a Gopher marketing agent and I get a daily breakdown of market movements that not only pull in data from particular assets that I want to look at within GoTrader, but also pull in information from our sentiment analysis. And I get a personalized breakdown every morning of information and assets that I'm interested in tracking and recommendations on potential trades or potential trade setups. So this is all utilizing the Gopher API and all of the market intelligence data and sentiment data that we utilize. Now, the one other piece that I've wired up for my marketing and content creation needs is effectively a marketing agent that suggests hot takes on the market in the format of social posts and LinkedIn posts. And you can see here that it has used Gopher market intelligence data and drafted a market intelligence report, which not only promotes Gopher's tools, but also provides like insights on calls it had made previously that I've now successfully played out within the market. And I'm using this content and I'm able to approve certain drafts, edit certain drafts, or skip ideas that my agent using GoTrader is pulling in. Now, if you're a content creator and want to keep your trading audience up to date with the latest market movements and wrap those in hot takes around conversations happening within X, this is a really cool and interesting way to do that. And it's just one example of using Gopher market data, even beyond trading, but also its core use case is trading as well. So if you're interested, all you need to do is get some credits, get your Gopher key, and input the instructions in and around the Gopher API into your agent plus that key, and you can start iterating and creating prompts in and around how you would like to use GoTrader's market data. I was really excited to see this in action. Oop, how do I stop sharing screen now? Sorry, I know you're getting an infinite loop here. How do I turn this off? Okay, great. It's so simple in order to set up. Obviously, you have to go through the process of creating your agent. But again, Gopher key, API instructions, it spins it up for you, and you're using Gopher market data for whatever use case you may need. Again, if you're interested in some additional credits in order to access the API, it's cheap. I think for my daily market analysis and content creation, it's utilizing 3 credits per day, which is really cost effective. And just one way that you can start integrating our API. Really interested if anyone has any other ideas. And if you pop into the GoTrader Telegram chat and need some help or some ideas, or indeed some help in integrating the API, it's pretty simple, but we're here to help assist you as well. We are at the 35-minute mark. We will be back next week with new tools, and over the course of the next few weeks, we'll be posting official announcements as and when the alerts and Guard V2 go live. Paul, is there anything other than a goodbye? Anything you'd like to add or highlight before we jump off?
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for all of the really encouraging comments on the chat. It's really nice of you. I'm glad it's getting it's well received what we're building here. On the question, there's one comment that I like, one put in the chat. Yeah, it's fair to say that we're not, there's been a lot of focus on live trading. I know we talked about it 2 weeks ago. We haven't obviously stopped working on live trading. Live trading as a concept is totally working within Gopher, and Brendan's been working very hard on the desktop app, which obviously we haven't shown today, but there's a lot of work going on with the desktop app, a lot of work going into making the evolution and the Monte Carlo part of what you need to feed into live trading faster. But yeah, we rotate. I've flipped back to the website. We're not forgetting about the people that don't necessarily want to live trade. They want to use Gopher as a platform to get insights into the market and help them to trade smarter. So Gopher website for sure, want more features to go in there, and in parallel we work on the desktop app and building out the capabilities to live trade.
Nice. One interesting question that filtered in just now: will any of Gopher trading features, guards, alerts, etc. be available at some point for trading subnet alpha tokens in the BitTensor ecosystem? I can take that back to the team. From my understanding, Paul, if that data is available in TradingView, it's accessible and you can start doing that now. I'm not sure if it is or how we can parse some of that data in. But am I correct in thinking that's like the only limitation as it stands?
We need to look at it. I'm going quiet because I'm already trying to think of a solution question. Yeah. But look, anything's possible, and yeah, if the demand's there, I'm only hesitating because alerts is very local. It runs with no back end at all. It's actually a front end only solution. So as soon as we need anything to go further down and deeper into the stack, then we need to persist it in the. But I'm solutionizing on the call, which isn't the best. We can do whatever people want. It's a great. We can do it.
Yeah, 13 threes. You are correct. There are liquidity pools on CoinGecko, and it's certainly possible in a way to get that data into GoTrader. Let us take that away and get a response into GoTrader Telegram within the next day or so. Great that you're connecting the dots between the subnet we operate and the trading tool that we've built. It's all obviously one connected ecosystem, and we want to make it more and more connected, as Paul was going through how Guard V2 is integrating across other tools as well. So great idea. Let's look into it and get back to you on the GoTrader channel. Cool. We have just under 100 viewers. Thank you for joining us. Comment in this on this post, on this live stream, for those free credits to test Gopher Guard V2 and alerts when they come. Thank you all for joining us, and have a great rest of week. Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye bye.